Today, President Trump will travel to Florida's new Alligator Alcatraz Migrant Detention Center, which is located right in the heart of the Everglades.
Madeline Rivera joins us live from Washington with all the details. Hey, Maddie.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says this is one way to ramp up deportations by increasing the detention capacity for people who are in the country illegally. The detention center is set on the Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport. It was repurposed for this migrant facility. Alligator Alcatraz will have 5,000 beds. The state says the site will cost $450 million a year to operate, which will be reimbursed by FEMA. The Trump administration says the benefit of this location is its low-cost security.
The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens.
Over the weekend, protesters lined up along Highway 41, which runs through the Everglades. Environmental activists have a federal lawsuit saying state and federal agencies did not follow environmental and land use laws. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin is calling the lawsuit lazy, saying the land has been developed for more than a decade. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, DeSantis, and Congressman Byron Donalds are expected to join the president on his visit today. Carly and Todd.
All right, Madeline Rivera live for us in Washington. Maddie, thank you. Let's bring in Florida Congressman and House Homeland Security Committee member Carlos Gimenez. Congressman, good morning to you. So clearly the name and the location of this facility is intended to send a message to illegal immigrants, and you don't have to spend much money on it, on a border for it at least, because nature is doing that for you. So what do you think about this facility as the president is expected to take a visit there later today?
Yeah, well, look, I was the mayor of Miami-Dade County, and Miami-Dade County actually owns that facility, and I visited a couple of times. I actually was looking for it to be a place where we could actually do a Paris air show kind of thing. And while it's in the middle of the Everglades, it's not the Everglades. It has been improved. It's been developed, and not just for a decade, for decades. That was the beginning of what's called a jet port, that they wanted to build the largest airport in the world there. And then they scrapped that idea. But there is a 13,000-foot runway there, and it's all dry, and it's not what people think it is. It's somehow swampland or something. That's not what it is. It is surrounded by the Everglades, but the facility itself is high and dry.
Yeah, so Axios reporting to that point. Immigration advocates, Democrats opposing Alligator Alcatraz because it's touted as deliberately cruel to detainees.
No.
Your response?
No. No, it's not. Look, I'm sure what they have there, and I'm going to be touring the facility, what they've done there today also. I'm sure what they've done is they've taken these portable structures, air conditioned, et cetera, that they've used, ICE has used a lot of times, a lot of it in our southern border, and I'm sure that that's what they have there. It's not going to be inhumane. The people will be treated just fine. And again, it's not swampland. It's developed. It's high and dry. It is though surrounded by the Everglades.
And they're going to be criminal migrants that are housed there. Is that correct?
Well, that I don't know, but I would hope so. That's really should be the intent. That these are migrants that have committed crimes that are now deportable, and so that should be the population that's there. And again, I doubt. No, it will not be inhumane in any way. Just that there's this picture that people think that somehow they're building this thing in the middle of the Everglades. It is the middle of the Everglades, but it's not the Everglades. It is an improved section of the Everglades that had a purpose a long time ago to be a runway. There is a runway there, or an airport. There is a long runway there. Actually, the runway was an emergency landing strip for the space shuttle. That's how long it is, and so it's like 6,000 acres of a 23,000 acre piece of property that is the airport itself. And again, it sounds really bad because alligator, Alcatraz and all that, but it's an improved piece of property, and I'm sure that the facilities are going to be just fine.
Got about 20 seconds for this final answer. How much will this facility help in the fight against illegal immigration?
I mean, look, it's just the image of it. You know, what it conveys is that we're serious about illegal immigration, and if you've been here, if you've committed crimes, you're going to be deported because that's what the law says. Yeah. And so the President Trump is just basically following the law, and that's the message that should be sent to illegal immigrants, you know, around the world.
Yeah, 5,000 beds in detention space is also very much needed. Congressman Carlos Gimenez, thank you for joining us this morning.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.